Welcome to DSEJ Home Classes, a digital initiative by Directorate of School Education, Jammu. My dear students, today we are going to discuss the next topic from the chapter Morphology of the Flowering Plant, and topic that I am going to discuss today is the stem. My dear students, the stem is one of the two main structural axes of the vascular plants. I mean to say that the two vascular axes of the plant, of which the plant is made up of, one is the stem and other is the root. The stem is one of the two main structural axes and the other being the root. It acts as a bridge between the root and the rest of the parts of the plant. As you can see, here is the root, and which holds the plant to the substratum, and this is the stem, and the stem acts as a bridge between the rest of the organs, that is leaves, flowers, fruits, etc., and therefore it works as a very crucial organ of the plant. One more thing I would like to add here, that the stem along with the rest of the organs, that is leaves, fruits, flowers, seeds, is called as the shoot. The stem, it supports leaves, fruits, flowers, and it transports fluids and produces new living tissue for increasing the height of the plant. That is, it possesses the meristematic tissue which is present at the as a apical meristem at the tip of the stem, and also in between as the intercalary meristem, which causes the increase in the height of the plant. Let's discuss in some greater detail the various functions which are performed by the stem. So what are the various functions which the stem performs? The first of all, it holds the leaf in a favorable position to receive the light for the photosynthesis. That is, the leaves, as we know, are the sites of the photosynthesis, and the leaves must be in position with the sun so that the maximum photosynthesis can be achieved, and this is done by the stem. Then it holds the flowers in a favorable position for the pollination. That is, because of the differential increase in the length of the stem or the differential positioning of the stem, the flowers are also held in a favorable position so as to attract the pollinators for the purpose of pollination. Then one additional function, most stems contain chlorophyll, and therefore they manufacture food by the process of photosynthesis. That is, the stems which are green, they contain the chloroplast, and hence they can also aid to the process of photosynthesis in addition to the process performed by the leaves. The stem also stores food and water. The stem transports water and mineral salts from root to the leaves. They transport food from the leaves to the roots. That is, it allows the bidirectional flow of the substances, that is the water and the mineral nutrients. They flow from roots to the leaves. On the other hand, the food which is manufactured within the leaves is transported to various organs, including the roots, via the phloem which is there in the stem. So it acts as a major organ of the transport. Now, as we discussed in the topic roots, that root, in addition to the performing the function of the anchorage and the mineral nutrition to the plant, sometimes gets modified and does some additional functions. In the same way, the stems are also modified to perform some additional function other than the functions that just now we have discussed, and accordingly, because of their different positioning and different functions, we have classified the stem modifications into three broad categories. These are the underground modifications, subaerial modifications, and aerial modifications. These we will be discussing one by one. In the underground modifications, we have bulb, corm, rhizome and the tuber. In the subaerial modifications, we have runners, stolon, sucker and offsets. In the aerial modifications, we have creepers, trailers, climbers, etc. And there are two more modifications. These are the phylloclads and cladodes. These are also modified stems and they perform some additional function. Let's discuss these one by one. First of all, let us talk about different modifications of underground stems. The first is the rhizome, then is the corm, then is the tuber, and then is the bulb. Dear students, here I must mention that the root and the stem are differentiated from each other by the presence of nodes and internodes, which is a unique feature of the stem. That is, the nodes and internodes are present on the stem but absent on the roots, and that is the identifying feature of the stem. First of all, one underground stem, that is the rhizome, the example is the ginger, as it just looks like the root, but because of the presence of the nodes and the internodes on its surface, that is these lines are the nodes and the spaces in between are called as the stem segments or the internodes. This does the additional function of the storage of food. Similarly, we have corm or the colocasia. There the nodes and internodes are differentiated from each other by these dark and light brown circles, and this is again the modification of the root for the purpose of the food storage. Then is the bulb. The example is the onion, where these are the leaves and these are the roots of the this onion, and here the stem is modified to a very small hypocotyle deliquescent stem in between these roots and the stem in these leaves in between. Then is the tuber, and the example is the potato. Potato, as you all have seen the potato, and you have seen these notches on the surface of the potato, and these notches are called as the eyes of the potato. And any area taken from the potato which bears this eye has the capability of developing into the new potato plant, and these points, they represent the nodes, and the rest of the potato, this represents the internode. Then let us discuss the subaerial modifications of the stem. In this type of modifications, the stem trails on the soil or is found partially beneath the soil in such a way that it remains in contact with the soil and air. Stem is modified for perennation and vegetative reproduction. As we have seen that the stem in the potato tuber underground stem, this is modified for the storage of the food, also functions for the perennation and reproduction. In the same way, the subaerial modifications of the stem, they are doing the function of the perennation and the vegetative reproduction. Let's see how it does. The four examples are runner, stolon, offset and the sucker. They look like this. This is the runner. The example is the garden grass, cynodon, dactylon. This is the stolon. Then there is the sucker, and then there is the offset, with the very little differences between them, but all of them have one thing in common, that their stem, it is trailing just above the ground and some portion may be underground. The roots come from the nodal portion. In all of them you can see the roots are coming from the nodal portion, and the stem creeps just above the ground. That's why it's called the subaerial. Then the runner, the stem is just parallel to the ground. In case of stolon, the stem, it raises just little in the height and then again it trails on the soil. one internode long stolen is called as the offset. And then there is the sucker, where the node bears the roots, the internode elongates and again bears the leaves upwards and the roots downwards. So these are the few examples of the subaerial modifications of the stem. Now let's discuss the aerial modifications of the stem. Aerial modification, they include various types of thorns, tendrils, then the phylloclads and the cladodes. Now let us discuss these one by one. First, let me tell you what is difference between the phylloclad and the cladode. In case of phylloclad and cladode, phylloclad, there are certain similarities and certain differences. Let's first discuss phylloclad. Both main stem as well as the branch are modified to function as the leaves, and these two modifications of the stem, the phylloclad and the cladode, they are found in the xerophytic plant, where the leaves are either reduced to scales or spines or needle-like in order to overcome the scarcity of water in such places and reduce the process of transpiration. So these modifications are done. The stem functions like a leaf, is succulent, stores water and reduced, and the leaves are highly reduced. In case of cladodes, only the branches are modified to take over the function of the leaf, whereas the stem and branches both are engaged in this process in phylloclad. Both phylloclad and the cladode, they have unlimited growth or the indefinite growth. In case of phylloclads, it consists of several nodes and internodes, but the cladode, it is usually one internode long. The leaves are reduced to are caducous in case of phylloclads, whereas they are reduced in the scales or the spines in case of cladode. The example of the phyllocladode is the Ruscus, asparagus, etc., whereas the cladode, it is Apuntia, euphorbia, etc. Now this is about the phylloclad and cladode. Now the other aerial modifications are climbers, creepers, etc. These modifications are actually occurring in order to raise the plant to a level so that it can have access to sufficient sunlight. For example, plants that take support on the neighboring structures and climb up are called as the climbers. And plants with weak stems which cannot stand upright and spread on the ground, they don't take the support to rise upwards, they just spread on the ground where sufficient sunlight can fall and they can cause the process of photosynthesis. These are called as the creepers, as they creep on the soil. Some stems, they may be modified to form the tendrils, where they wind themselves around a support and keep on rising above the soil, above the level from the ground. So these are the aerial modifications of the stem. So we have discussed all the modifications of the stem, the structure of the stem and the various functions which the stem can perform. So my dear student, that's all for this topic today. Thank you. Stay safe, and in case you can have any question, you can ask me on my phone number given on this platform. Thank you so much.